I've started to, it's recording.
Oh, hang on.
It's, okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're recording now. I wanted to welcome everybody today. I am super, super excited. We are doing our very first episode of the SALON show. There's lots that we can talk about. There is so much that we can do to help each other. We also want to, along the way, learn techniques of how to get through life, because life has thrown us so many curveballs, as everybody knows, and it's not, nobody's been here from this generation. We don't know how to get through it. Some people have different coping mechanisms. Other people need to learn how to do it. I'm one of those people who's also learning as we go along. So every day is, it's a one day at a time. So I'm very, very happy for the fact that we're doing the show, because besides learning all of those things, what I think we need to do is have some fun. So besides the people we're going to be talking to today, you will see on your screen right now is Susan Francis. So I want Susan, I'm so happy that I have met Susan. I met her recently. She's a fantastic woman who's come into my life, and I believe that she has got so much that she can share with all of us. So thank you for being here, Susan Francis, and I'm going to ask you if you can just tell us a bit about who you are and what it is that you do and have done in your life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ursula, and thank you for the invitation. I'm really excited about your project, Salon News. I think it's exactly what hairstylists need at the moment: some motivation, some encouragement, and some strategies to cope with their business. So I've been following your Facebook page for a few weeks now, and as we all know, it's been really tough for entrepreneurs and particularly the hairdressing industry.
Yes.
So to give you a bit of background about myself, I'm an emotional intelligence specialist, and I run several small businesses, and all of them focus on health and wellness. I focus mainly on behavioral change, and I assist people with medically assisted weight management.
Okay, well, that sounds fantastic. I mean, that covers a broad range of everything. So I would say, you know, the stylists have been under a lot of pressure. They are one of the industries that their lockdown was super extended, and they were told that they would only open in level 1. And through a lot of fighting and people that were helping out all along the way, we have managed to open up. I say we because I've been part of the industry for a very long time, even though I'm not a hairstylist. I like to tell people I'm not a hairstylist, although I always feel like one because I wear black all the time, and because I have been in marketing in the industry for a very long time. So I like to say we. So yeah, we've been under a lot of stress for a long time. There's people that had to close their businesses. I mean, imagine 3+ months of absolutely no income. So yes, they're under a lot of stress, and that's one of the reasons why I invited you here, because maybe give us some tips on dealing with stress and being resilient and that kind of thing.
100%. So handling stress is a normal part of everybody's life all the time, pre-COVID, currently. I think we all know what stress is, and we've all experienced it. Some stress is necessary. So a little bit of stress is good because it helps motivate you and kick you into action and get your businesses up and running, yes. But only to a point. So yes. I think too much stress is harmful. And I think that's what you asked me to talk about today, is the amount of stress that we're experiencing at the moment, particularly in your industry. Yes. It is really harmful to have too much stress.
Yes, yes. You know, there's so much around health and wellness that people, I don't think half the time don't know where to turn, you know, and if we can focus on something that will help bring something to our industry where they don't have to go outside of the borders of who we are and help each other, because I've always wanted to help the industry, but us all help each other. So give us some coping ideas and tell us maybe some of the influences that stress levels have on our lives? Like, just how bad can it be?
So I think the first thing we've got to know is to recognize if we've got too much stress in our lives. So let's look at the things that cause stress.
Yes.
So the one is ill health, and that could be anything from a cold or flu all the way to Alzheimer's, depression, anxiety. People experience stress mainly because of ill health, financial difficulties, divorce, of course, death of a spouse or a partner, a child, a loved one, and of course, there's work-related pressure.
Yes.
So it's not. We mustn't think of ourselves as one person experiencing stress. We must realize that everyone around us has different stresses. So I think the first thing is be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Because everybody experiences stress.
Yes.
There's not one person around me. Their stress may be different,
Yes.
but everybody experiences stress. When we've really got to worry about it
Yes.
is when it's long-term or chronic stress, because that's damaging the body. And we can talk a little bit about how it manifests.
Yes, please.
So I think firstly we've got to understand ourselves as beings, and there's four levels that make up a human being. So we've got our physical body, so you can see me. You can't always see that I'm stressed, but you recognize another person because of their physical body. But more than that, we're also emotional beings. So I think that's why it's been so hard recently or difficult recently because we've been stuck inside. And as emotional beings, we need to socialize. So from an emotional level, we've taken quite a knock because we don't have our support systems around us. And online's lovely. It works really well for business with you and I chatting here. But at the end of the day, we need that hug, that cuddle from a family member, or the greeting that we used to have with friends where we could, give them a big cuddle and say, oh, I've missed you. And I think that's what we've really been missing on the emotional side.
Yes.
And then as beings, other than being physical and emotional, we're also intellectual. So those are the things that the stylists would bring to work every day. They, how to mix color, how to engage with customers, how to keep their salons looking beautiful, how to manage their finances. So those are the intellectual things. And if we don't have a physically healthy body or an emotionally healthy mind and heart, then from an intellectual level, it's difficult to use our core competencies and to give our best to our businesses when the physical and the emotional aren't right. And then the fourth level is spiritual. And that's how everybody defines their own spiritual connection. So we've got to look at stress from those four levels: physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual.
And I would say that people, that stylists overall, even before viruses and things, understand what that stress is like, even just on a day-to-day basis, working in the salon, applying a color and then going to the back room and holding thumbs that it's going to come out exactly as they hoped it would be and come out smiling. So I think they really know how to have put on a facade in a lot of ways, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. I think they are fantastic for doing that, because I know
me too.
to do all that they have to do and still smile and listen to what their clients are saying and acknowledge them along the way too, because they are like therapists, and so they're listening to them 100%. And taking all of that on as well. So what are some of the things, it affects your body, your heart rate, you were saying, and chest pains,
So I think that's on the physical level. So if we want to look at how stress manifests on each of those levels, physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, on the physical level, we've got to learn to listen to our bodies. So my advice then is, if you're experiencing an accelerated heart rate or chest pain, that's your body's warning system saying we've got a problem. If you've got digestive problems, I know some people suffer from ulcers or maybe IBS or heartburn, that's your body telling you things are not okay.
Yes.
Fatigue, if you're really, really tired, it's your body's way of saying to you, you've got to take time out. You know, you can't work 24 hours a day. Yes, sure, you may not be making an income that you were making maybe 4 months ago, but at the same time, you've got to listen to your body, kind of have the 8 hours sleep a night. Colds and flu are an example of you pushing your body too hard. It's your body's way of saying, take time out. I'm showing you physically that your immune system is battling, so you've got to look after yourself.
Yes.
And then other little telltale signs, or if you suffer from headaches or migraines, high blood pressure perhaps, insomnia, those are all your body's built-in alarm system that says, don't ignore me. We've got a problem. Take care of yourself.
Yes. And I think from my point of view is that people don't know how to do that. So before we get into some ideas of how we can maybe do that, what are some of what can happen to you mentally when you're in this kind of state? So you're the stylist, or you're working in your office even, what are some of the things that can happen, creatively and that kind of way?
So I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm very stressed, I'll lose my car keys, or I won't be able to find my glasses, and I'll think, oh no, age is catching up on me. But often it's actually that I've ignored those physical symptoms,
Yes.
and now it's starting to become an emotional problem.
Yes.
So we're not alone, because when we're stressed, we all don't concentrate on the task at hand. So when I should be concentrating on mixing color, or smiling and being present for my customer, my mind may be somewhere else. So I don't concentrate on this task, and I live in my head. And I think other people don't notice, but they see that my mind is racing, or that I'm going blank in the middle of a sentence.
Yes.
So I learned a saying years ago in a life skills course in my 20s that I find is so relevant today, and that is, the universe supports action, not thought.
Ah, love that.
Yeah, the universe supports action, not thought. So a lot of the time when we're worrying about our business or our clients, where the next paycheck is coming from, we spend a lot of time thinking about our problems and creating anxiety in our bodies, because our mind is constantly going to our problems.
Yes.
But if we concentrate on what we can do to fix those problems, so I shouldn't be concentrating on how terrible things might be. I should really concentrate on what I can do to improve them, because every action I take takes me out of my head, or that worrying about problems, and starts giving me solutions.
Yes. And possibly saying, I can't do this, instead of saying, how can I do this? Yes. I think then just swaps the narrative in your brain to solution orientated. So I don't know, I would imagine that, and I've seen for myself, how stress can actually affect creativity.
Yes, 100%.
And we all, I mean, this is the industry we're in, and even sense of humor. I mean, I used to be quite a funny person, I thought, anyway. My kids don't think so, but yeah, I used to think so.
Best audience.
Yes, I tell dad jokes now, so they just think I'm lame. Because they're much older now. So yeah, so I think especially creativity and, sense of humor is something you need to get through your day. I remember early days of work, you worked so hard, but we played so hard and laughed all along the way. And I'm saying that specifically here because in this industry, this is what hairdressers are like. They love to have fun along the way, and they are the most super creative people. You want to have fun, you spend time with them. They are unbelievable. I love them.
Yeah, I think learning to laugh at yourself is a tonic for everyone.
Yes.
So I know that no matter how difficult things get in my life, I always find the humorous side of things. And unfortunately, when we're very, very stressed, we lose our sense of humor, and that is actually the best tonic. Yes. So 100%, we must keep the joy, and we must keep the humor in our everyday lives.
Yes.
And you know, that is resilience. When we talk about resilience, that is actually resilience. It's to find the funny side of life, to act, to make things better. So I think if someone's salon is currently empty, rather than posting a whole lot of posts on Facebook about how empty things are, how empty the salon is, rather find something to do. Post on social media about the products you have. Do those before and after photos that I see so many of your hairdressers posting on your Facebook.
Yes.
Calling clients, asking them how they are. You don't necessarily have to phone a client and say, come in and have your hair styled. But I mean, I've been friends with my hairdresser for over 20 years. So, you know, during lockdown, she didn't necessarily phone me and say, Susan, come and have your hair cut. But she did phone me and say, how are you? How is your daughter? She knows my life. She knows stuff about me. So, you know, just start the conversation with your clients. You don't have to hard sell to your clients, come and buy products, come in and have your hair done. But people like to be cared about. So they like to know that you're interested in their life and that they mean something to you. Your clients don't have to be in the salon for you to have a conversation with them.
Correct. And it is so much relationship building. I mean, there are stylists that could tell you the entire life stories of a lot of clients that have been going for 20 years or whatever. So they are into that. They are very much relationship building. And I think speaking to somebody else who is also stressed, because who isn't at the moment, you would encourage each other, and also a chance for a stylist to be listened to instead of just to listen. That will give them an opportunity, and then your client obviously feels really, really special because you know you haven't forgotten. And I know there's some stories of people who have been absolutely amazing during the lockdown, who have supported and helped their stylists just out of the blue, and I know that they're so grateful for that. So there are some very kind-hearted people out there. So I'm very, very happy for them. And you know, to the ones that are going through a harder time and have had to readjust, sometimes, and really it sounds so cheesy, you know, you have to adapt in the hardest times. Sometimes brings out the best version of what the world needs. And the best version of yourself. And I know it's glib and sounds easy to say, but when you're in it, that's the part where you need to help us, like when you're in it. So thank you so much for what you have said already. What could you do kind of in a moment? So like I find it quite difficult to describe my stress sometimes, because like I feel like I want to jump out of my skin when I'm stressed. You know, how do I explain that to somebody? And you know, what do I do? Other people find it so much easier. So what is some ways, or what can you talk on about that?
So we have two different kinds of people. We have people that are really able to describe their feelings. So I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling, I've got rage. I like to call those feelings the ness feelings. So fearfulness, hopelessness, helplessness, powerlessness. So from an emotional intelligence perspective, you've got two types of people. Those who can describe their recognize and describe their feelings, and those who have bad feelings, but they can't name them, so they don't have the words to describe them. So what happens if you don't share your feelings easily with others? You've got to hope that your support group, or the people that know you, when I say your support group, I mean we've each got a set of people. It might be your mother or father, your brother or sister, your colleagues, a best friend. So you've really got to look at your support system. And if you're not going to discuss your feelings with a stranger or with a client, I 100% understand that. It's probably better for business. But you do need to have that one person, or 3 people or 5 people if you're very lucky, but somebody that you can share your feelings with. And also you want your family and your close friends to be able to recognize changes in your behavior if you're struggling.
Yes, because not everybody can see it, as you say. So I feel like I can really pick up people's vibes when I walk into a room. I can pick up their energies, and I think probably most people can do that. They don't even realize it. So it's so important that if somebody's walking into your space or into your salon, that you are giving off the right kind of vibes without people feeling like they're walking on eggshells around you. So are you telling your brain, you kind of like lying to your brain to put those vibes out there? Or
So there's a thing saying seeing it is believing it, but actually you can lie to your brain, and believing it is seeing it. So if you put a smile on your face, or and you greet every person as if your day is going well, after a while your day starts to go well. If we hang around a lot of negative people where all we talk about is, the bad things that are going on in the country, in the world, in our homes, then after a while you start to have a negative day.
yeah.
So yes, I want people to be informed of what's going on by reading the news, listening to the news on the radio, watching the news on TV. But I think, especially now, you've got to kind of block out some of the negative news that's coming in.
Yes.
So for me, that's number one, is to block out some of the negativity.
Yes.
Number two, if you're not feeling great, to put a smile on your dial and say, well, today I'm going to make it a good day.
Yes.
Make yourself accountable. So tell the people around you, today's going to be a great day. I'm going to decide that when I see Ursula this morning, I'm going to be in a great mood. Because
Yes.
it's really a decision. We all decide every single day if we're going to feel happy or feel sad. Feelings are choices. We have a choice on how we're going to react, and we have a choice on how we're going to feel.
Yes.
So try and stay away from that negative energy.
Yes.
If you are feeling, very, very stressed, one thing you can do is you can put your tongue behind your front teeth on the palate, and
Wow.
that activates your logical brain rather than your emotional brain. So it's a trick that facilitators use when we speak in front of large crowds, because you start to feel that anxiety and the fear, and it's a way to recenter yourself and get your logical brain going, and then your emotional brain dies down a bit.
That's really cool.
So yeah, little tricks of the trade.
Yes, definitely.
But I think the problem with stress is it affects everyone in the environment differently.
Yeah.
So some people fidget and twitch, and I don't really mind that. I prefer it to the people that get violent and yell.
Yes.
We see a lot of childish behavior. Some people throw things. And then in my business, in the weight management program, I see a lot of the addictive behaviors. And I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but we all recognize our own addictions or our own behaviors that maybe need to be managed better.
Yes.
Better.
Yes.
So in my weight management program, it's not always a food-related problem that we deal with. Sometimes people are overweight because they drink too much. Other people are skipping meals because they're smoking too much. And I'm not against smoking or drinking, but everything needs to be in moderation. And only you will know, or your clients will know, or stylists will know which of the behaviors that they used to have in control that are getting out of control. So are you drinking more than you were before lockdown? Are you smoking more than you were before lockdown?
Yes.
Not that you should be, if you're able to.
Yeah.
But also we have the people that are emotional eaters who are trying to cover up pain. So if you're very, very upset, are you grabbing a chocolate every day, when is perhaps before lockdown you were drinking a glass of water when you were on the run? So the sedentary lifestyle, the sitting around worrying, brings out these really dangerous behaviors. Some I find less dangerous. So all these bloody people who drop the F-bomb all the time. Not everyone swears, but some people, that's a release.
Yes.
that's how they cope with their stress.
Yes.
So I know I occasionally don't have the best language, but I try and keep that away from my daughter, for instance.
Yes.
And I know that it's not always conducive to happy relationships at work. Some of your colleagues might enjoy the odd bit of swearing, but at the end of the day, some of the clients that you may have may be offended. So I think we must moderate all our behavior and keep it relevant to the environment that we're in. If we're with friends, if we're with colleagues, if we're with clients.
Yes.
So, you know,
I think I would say that, you know, we're in a world at the moment where we feel helpless and hopeless. And those are two very terrible misses to have. And we want to help. And we've got a lot of pressure on us now, I think, where people are saying, how are you helping? Instead of just sitting at home, we need to change our country. How are you making it better? And that puts strain on us as well. And I've been thinking about this myself and thinking the best that I can do about changing something in the country or in the world is to be the best version of myself, so that I can help the people around me, you can help the people around them. Because if you're not whole or in a good headspace, you're unable to help, you know. So I think if you're not sure which direction to go in, with all the pressures like watching the news and all that kind of thing, maybe that's one way to just think about it. I don't know, just my sort of 2 cents on that.
100%. I think so much of the time we focus on things outside of our control. So as you said, the only person that you're going to change, the only person that you can really make a difference is in your own life.
Yes.
So if I change my behavior, immediately all the people around me feel happier.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever worked in an organization where there's one leader that is like the rotten apple, and all the apples that they're around, they infect. So you really want to be the fresh, healthy, sumptuous person that you are.
Yeah.
And if every single day you're the best version of yourself, you give off that energy, and people can actually live off that energy that you create. So some people, when you leave them, you feel exhausted. And other people, when you leave them, you feel great. You feel like, wow, I feel like I've had vitamins for the day. So it really is about being the best version of yourself.
So how do we stop put all this into action without worrying about, like, if I think about all of that, to me, it's the weight, it's the mind, it's the finances, it's the business, it's my family. It's like, and if I think about all of it, it feels so overwhelming. Like, how do we manage that a little bit, or, you know, do you?
Yeah, so I think once again, it's very important to step away from the negativity and the bad news
And worrying about the future. Yes.
And start living in the moment. Stop worrying about the future. The future will take care of itself if you worry about today. So if you do those actions today, if I don't look at how my salon is coping today, but rather what can I do today to make sure that it's better next week?
Yes.
You can't live in fear and constantly discuss finances and politics and illness. We need to continue living. And resilience is your ability to actually bounce back, to be flexible, to retain your sense of curiosity, to have hopefulness about the future, even in the face of adversity.
Yes.
So there are a few things we can do.
Prioritize your activities and follow that structure for the day.
Yeah. So I kind of divide them into the 3 Ds. So do what has to be done, and delegate what can be done by someone else. So if you're managing a salon, there's only so much you can do in your 8 or 10 hour day. So do what you can do. Delegate to those around you, because a salon isn't only run by a manager. Every single person makes up the fabric of the salon. So delegate what can be done by other people in your salon, give them responsibility and give them accountability. It also makes them feel important, that they have purpose. And then delay what you can't do today. You know, especially if you're a perfectionist, which I tend toward, you've got to forgive yourself for the fact that you can only get so much done during the day. So whether that's online schooling or seeing 5 clients or doing marketing in the morning and then, you know, starting the salon later, we mustn't set ourselves massive goals and then be hugely upset with ourselves when we haven't managed to do everything. So do delegate and delay what we can't do today.
Yes. I believe that Natalie Goldberg in her book Wild Mind said that stress is an ignorant state. It believes everything that is an emergency. So I think we've spoken quite a bit about that already, and you've given some good tips on that. Would you agree? Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
100%. Not everything is an emergency. And I think that's what we keep telling ourselves. So we need to focus on relationships and building relationships with clients, with friends, with family, with customers. We need to be kind to ourselves. I know I've said that 3 times, but it really is very important.
I think people don't know how to.
Yes. Well, you know, you've got a lot of programs planned going forward, and I think we've discussed that quite a lot. So today is very much opening up the subject of stress and resilience, but then you will start to have different people come onto your show, maybe discuss how to deal with things. This is quite broad, but we can go into specialist things that we can do to deal with our problems. I know I said I didn't want to talk about COVID too much today, but I mean, these lockdown restrictions have been necessary. Perhaps not as hard as it was for everybody as it was for the hair dressing industry, but I think most people in your industry have got the necessary protection put in place now. And we must understand that when our clients come to have their hair done, they don't want to hear about COVID. They hear about COVID outside the salon every single day. They hear it on the news. When they come into your salon, they want to come and relax. They want to unwind in your salon. They want a bit of an escape from the madness outside. They want to be pampered. They want to be listened to and heard. I think this is a nice forum for us to listen to hairdressers and stylists and let them put their problems on us. But really, they've got to be there for their clients, because I know for me, when I'm having a bad day or before a big interview or before a big presentation, one of the first people I go to is my hairdresser, because I know when I walk in there, she's going to smile at me, she's going to make me feel gorgeous on the outside, which in turn makes me feel really good on the inside. So I think hairstylists need to realize that their world has changed for the short term, but our hair is always going to grow. Women and men are always going to want to be beautiful and feel good about themselves and look good. So we've had a temporary setback in this industry, but you know what? We're going to go back to how we used to be. Everyone keeps talking about the new norm, but the new norm, my hair is still going to grow. A couple of grey hairs might still poke out, but I'm still going to want to go and see my stylist. So I think we've got to focus on the future.
Yeah, definitely, because they from a stylist point of view, there's a lot that have managed to go back and they can adapt that way. There are some that are displaced, I don't know if that's the right word, displaced, and have to readapt. So we are here giving them some tips from today, like you said, in a very broad perspective of how they can start their thinking. And I'm so happy that we did this Zoom meeting today. Thank you so much, Susan. We're going to go forward with some other programs and choose some other topics. We would love everybody to please put some comments below of other things that they would like to talk about and anything that they would like to ask you. And we will put all your information down there. If anybody wants to know anything about the weight management loss, I know you also do emotional intelligence. I mean, you've spoken in front of huge banking sectors and all this kind of thing. So we really, really appreciate your time and everything in there. Your company is called Abilities. I'm just going to say that out there, and they'll be able to see your information in the box below. And thank you for being our very first guest on the Salon Show.
Thank you so
We've got to
much
have some glitz and glam somewhere.
Don't look to me for glitz and glam. That's your industry.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting in my pajama pants. Just kidding.
I just really am worried about the inside, the health and wellness, the happy mindset, the smile on the face. That for me is important.
I think
and
fabulous.
I congratulate all the hairstylists out there. I think they have shown huge resilience, and I look forward to them all being back in the driving seats in their businesses as entrepreneurs.
Yes, me too.
I wish them all the best of luck, and I hope to see them again soon on your Salon News. Yes,
thank you. Yes, so this Salon Show is going to be aired on the YouTube channel, Ursula Brett's Salon Show, and we're going to put it through Hairstyle South Africa, which is the group that's doing the best at the moment. Yeah, so between you and I, we are going to bring some new things in the future, coming up soon.
That's so exciting. I can't wait to until we can have a good cup of coffee and a chin wag.
Yes,
thank you for
me
your
too.
time.
Thank you, Susan.
This morning.
Thank you, you
Okay,
too. I'm going to say bye for now. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.